edition of KPMG's Media and Entertainment Report is unique in the sense that it explores the impact of COVID-19 on the media and entertainment sector in India. What are the organizational responses to this kind of a disruption, the potential recovery timelines, and some of the long-term themes that are emerging. To explore this, we are conducting a series of interviews with key industry stakeholders to look at some of the nuances around, what's been emerging from this phase, and to get their insights on some of these matters. In this context, gaming has been, as a sector, has been one of the standout performers. It has been a sector that has seen a lot of growth over the past few years and had reached to rupees 90 billion in size by FY20. The COVID-19 and the lockdown phase, has sort of accelerated this growth with a significant traction in user base and user engagement levels seen during this phase. Even though subsequently the lockdown has been eased, there continues to be a strong momentum when it comes to gaming apps, both on growth and engagement levels. Right. This suggests that some of this growth is habit forming, and we may continue to see this momentum going forward. And therefore, even through the COVID phase, we expect that gaming as a sector will grow by upwards of 25% over the next 2 years. That being said, when you dissect the gaming sector and look at its constituent elements, casual gaming as a sector is a space which has seen is very fragmented and has very few operators at scale, with monetization levels for individual companies being a major challenge, right? Uh, Today we explore what are the reasons why which has been holding back Indian companies from building global and products at scale. So today we actually explore what does it take to build a casual gaming IP business in India at scale, and what are the kind of challenges and holdbacks that sort of stopping Indian companies from achieving that kind of a scale. And to discuss that, I have with me today Rajan Navani, MD and CEO at JetSynthesys, which is looking to actually build a high-end gaming ecosystem around this kind of a play, right? Rajan, thank you so much for taking the time out to talk to us, and and look forward to hearing from you on this. Right?
Pleasure, Girish. Great to be here.
So, Rajan, I think let's start this conversation out with let's get a very basic understanding of what, in your view, is actually truly holding back Indian companies from really building that kind of scale. What are the kind of systemic challenges and organizational level challenges that you think is sort of causing the entire fragmentation in the Indian gaming market?
So, I think India is, late entrant into the already well-established, global gaming market, right? So,
Right.
when you talk of the world today being at a $150 billion gaming industry, with India, barely even being at a billion yet, right? So, if you really look at it from a perspective of where India is in the journey when it comes to creating value or valuable businesses, we are very, very nascent. But at the same time, we got to realize that in terms of number of players, the number of the engagement that Indians are having with games is of an unprecedented scale, and especially with low data costs, 5G coming in, the pandemic, driving more interaction with the digital world. The largest downloads on Android in the world happening in India. The market, India is just ready now to, to not only play catch up, but accelerate significantly. So the reason why I think, the catch up is going to be real, and what have been the challenges so far is that the mindset, right? Even in India, which was not to really spend much on digital, is beginning to change radically. But the games that have dominated the Indian market so far are primarily international games, especially when it comes to mobile and casual, right? And these, games have required significant investment by global studios to really create world-class, games that can be played by people around the world, right? So until now, I've seen Indian companies investing, in building games which were more for the local market, or being able to build some sort of a differentiation in their games, keeping the Indian context in mind. And the investments that have typically gone into that are not very significant, given the fact that it's a fragmented market, given that the monetization on that has been low in India so far, studios have really not been able to progress beyond the point, right? But we started with creating as JetSynthesys significant value in the India market with in areas that Indians are engaged with, say with Sachin Sada, cricket champion, which is cricket, creating the best cricketing experience that is there, and many others which were Indian products. But eventually, I think the ability now for us to have built the capability that will enable us to create games that can operate at a global scale and actually do effectively well is where we are headed right now.
Understand. And that actually, puts me into exactly the point that I also wanted to then explore with you in a little bit more detail, is that in the context of what you just mentioned, right, with the systemic inefficiencies, with all the organizational challenges, with monetization at lack of scale that exists today, what do you think are the competencies that Indian companies need to develop, right, across the value chain for them to be able to build, to work around some of these issues and work, and build world-class, scaled businesses around casual gaming IPs?
So, as I said, given the fact that India is a nascent market, there are a lot of potholes that need to be filled, right? And I think therefore it is extremely important if there is an Indian gaming company that wants to be successful at a global size and scale, all those ecosystem factors are actually taken care of. Now, many of those potholes really need to be filled in by the gaming company itself, because there are no other players which will come and fill that. And there are many aspects to that. It could be, say, esports, so or it could be the ability to create effective monetization, within the games, right? There are different aspects to how you can market and integrate brands into games. I mean, the Indian market requires many different aspects that will need to be filled. Again, as JetSynthesys, we've taken that 360-degree approach, right? From building casual games on mobile to be able to monetize the gamers who are playing on PC but will move to mobile, to controlling or actually founding the largest esports company in India and seeing that opportunity nearly 4 years ago. All of these were very critical and important to even position ourselves to be able to take a shot at the global opportunity. The other thing is talent, right? I think one needs to ensure that the talent that is working on world-class games is available from around the world, right? I think because what has happened is the sensibilities of gamers, in different parts of the world, while they're connected at the core with a lot of human behavior and psychology, there are very clear scientific and artistic methods by which you can build global games that will be very successful. And I think putting that mix together, across talent, training them, building that ecosystem is also extremely important. So, we have offices in Japan, US, and UK, and we've actually been able to bring in talent from around the world to be able to create those experiences. I think that's the other part. I think, Girish, a good way to look at it is if you saw companies that came out of China, particularly in the gaming space, right? Their value and valuations were built on the large base of India, countries like India, but deep monetization of the Western markets or the Japan market, right? Or, many Korea and different countries which are the highest monetizing markets in the world. Now, that is the opportunity that I see coming out of India. That is the area where I see Indian companies really being able to scale quickly, grow their geographic presence, and it requires multiple things, right? One of the key other aspects that I think is required is what, like in our case, when we look at mobile gaming and all, is the engine-based approach, right? So you have an engine that can, say, when I took the example of cricket, but really take that engine-based approach to be able to create the best cricketing experience in multiple ways and formats, for not only the India market, but other global markets that play that, right? Creating games that are in the other spaces which are working well globally, right? So for us, we have cooking engines, we've got action engines, we've created different engine-based approach that monetize well in different markets. So I think having that approach, integrating that with a competitive environment for people to come and compete, in near real time, and leverage the fact that there's a lot of data that is going to be available at low cost, will set, I think, Indian studios and developers to be able to create their, what I would say, big bang in the global market.
Right. And I think, and that's interesting, right? I think a couple of points that you made sort of, I think, resonate well, right? I think the first point also is that at the end of it, if you want to build a quality product, you need to invest into it, both in the creation as well as in the marketing and distribution. And I think the Indian ecosystem has had constraints around how much you could do that, right? Which is also to a large extent linked with the monetization potential of the market as it stands today, right? While we can all agree that the future is far better than what the situation is today when it comes to monetization. But in current situations, I think the challenges around monetization also act as constraints, right? In terms of your ability to invest in creating world-class IPs, right? And in that context, I think the point you made second, which was to say that you build your user base around India, but you monetize the Western markets, right? Which sort of then enables you to build that kind of scale that is needed is also I think a very interesting takeaway, right?
What Indian studios have done, right,
Yeah,
typically, either invested in creating Indian games, right,
yeah,
are not monetized. Then there are others who are now saying, "But India nahi monetized hota, I'll only create global games." Now you can't compete with
yeah, true.
around the world for the US and that. You have to leverage the fact that you can create India games because that you're building for the future,
Yeah,
large, and you have to have the capacity to be able to compete with the global games today, which requires investment, right?
yeah,
So
agreed.
you're competing globally today, and you are best positioned to capture on the future.
So I think that's great, and I think and I think that sits in very well with the potential of gaming as a sector in India, and I think and that's something that we are also focusing a lot about in terms of the report, right? So great. So thank you so much, Rajan, for your time today, and I think and it's been really insightful in terms of the views, and look forward to catching up soon. Thanks.
Thanks, Girish. It's been a pleasure chatting with you.
Thank
Thanks.
you.